Welcome to the channel, everybody. I'm excited you're here. Today I'm going to be talking about marketing for Supergirl. So I've noticed marketing for movies lately has been a little different because we're in this age of social media and new technologies and AI, and I think there's a lot of different strategies that marketing teams are trying, which is inevitable. It's fine, it's expected, but some of them I just feel like are kind of out there for this movie in particular. And I don't know what they're going for exactly. In some cases I do, in some cases I don't. I just ultimately think it's a little bit confusing and weird. I don't know exactly who they're trying to market this movie to. I feel like there's some very strange choices. And if you're a Supergirl fan, a comic book fan, just a movie fan, whatever, I'd like to know your thoughts. I'd like to know if you think it's good or bad, if it's working, if it makes you want to see the movie. I'm just really curious more than anything. And I am a DC fan. I'm a big Batman and Superman fan. I like Supergirl. I just don't know as much about her as I do Batman and Superman. But I would say I know a decent amount. Like, I would say I know who the character is and like kind of who she should be. I just don't know every little detail about her, okay? That being said, I am a fan, but I'm just puzzled by the marketing. So the first thing I want to talk about is influencer ads. Not influencer collaborations, ads, and there's a difference. So I'll put a couple shots on the screen here of what I'm talking about. As you can see, these guys are actually social media influencers. At least one of them I've seen before. I've never seen the other guy. I have every reason to believe that they're real people, have their own accounts, and like either these fandoms or these characters. I'm sure that's true, but you'll notice these videos are edited the exact same way and they're from the Supergirl page. There's not necessarily any problem with that. It's just making the clear distinction. Because if I was making a review of this movie and talking about how great it was, the Supergirl marketing team could see that and reach out to me and be like, hey, can you add us as a collaborator and, you know, give me a small fee or whatever they want to do? And I can say yes or no. And there's some kind of authenticity there because it's showing my page and their page together in collaboration. But these are just ads. They don't show the names of these influencers or their pages. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to look at other films that they've liked and enjoyed to see if it matches up with their previous statements about things. And the reason I point that out is basically saying influencer ads are just commercials. They're not the same thing as like a personal review on your page. So I'm not even saying there's anything like bad about that. I just personally think people should know the difference because a lot of people, understandably, doom scroll, okay? We've all been there where we're just scrolling through content. Something catches your eye, someone's hyping a movie that, you know, maybe you're on the fence about or maybe you're excited about, right? And you want to hear what they have to say. Well, it's good to know whether it's authentically their opinion from their page or if they've been paid to say something, as in a commercial. So I'm just throwing that out there for whenever you do see these kinds of ads and you're trying to make a decision as to whether you want to see a movie or not. So the next thing with the marketing, which I will admit is an understandable and smart choice, I personally am just kind of tired of it, is the fact that there's so much crypto. Crypto is everywhere. Now you may be like, well, hey, like it's a big plot point in the movie. Like it's about going to save him or find him or whatever. And it's like, I understand. And I know that people love dogs. Okay, I love dogs too. Totally fine. I find it weird that James Gunn said he couldn't crack Superman until he found a way in through crypto and like through his dog and basically made his dog crypto essentially. And I just am confused by that. There's so many great Superman stories. Like I don't know why crypto would be essential to trying to build out the DCU or understand Superman or flesh him out or make a story. And then obviously we're going into Supergirl now and we find out that it's actually her dog. And I'm just like, there's just so much revolving around crypto. And that includes the promotion. Again, I get it. People like dogs. You're gonna promote it because people have dogs, they have pets, they think he's cute. I get it. There's also this screenshot though that I think is kind of weird about him being like an emotionally supportive animal, but yet destructive, and that being like a positive thing. I love an emotional support animal. I think that's great. I don't like it when animals are destructive. And I know it's tongue in cheek. Okay, I get that it's a joke. I know it's a joke. I just don't think it's a very good joke, okay? So yeah, I'm tired of seeing crypto everywhere. So this next one is a girl can do what she wants to do, and that's what she's gonna do. Something like that. That's just so narcissistic. That's just so selfish. It's boring to me. That does not make me want to root for this character. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man. You know, like, either way, it's selfish. Either way, it's uninteresting to me. I don't see how this brings people in. I think it's odd. I don't think you're playing to your entire audience, which you should do. This movie's not tracking really well. It feels like a bit of an alienating kind of tactic and statement to part of your audience. I'm not trying to be rigid. I'm not saying people can't do things they want to do. I do things I want to do essentially every day, but what are those things, right? There's certain things that we want to do as human beings that are actually not good for us. And we know that because we're flawed. If you're on a diet or you're trying to lose weight or something, you may want to eat that extra piece of cake, but you probably shouldn't eat that extra piece of cake. You get what I'm saying? That's a very basic example, but you could apply that in many other ways. So just because you want to do something doesn't mean that you should or that it's good. And so this narcissistic whatever is just, it's not heroic, and it doesn't, for me, from my understanding of the character of Supergirl, that doesn't really line up with her personality. I just think that's really odd. And that plays into the next thing, which is something that they've actually been using to promote the film kind of from the early stages, and it's just this like non-heroic apathy and the tagline of truth, justice, whatever. I honestly don't see why they think that's a good way of getting DC fans, Superman fans, Supergirl fans to be excited about this movie. I understand they're trying to do something different and edgy, but if you are a fan of these characters and you're a fan of this world and you talk to fans of this world, they're very passionate and they care a lot about these characters and what they stand for. So if you're gonna do something like that, you better have good reason, and you better be able to kind of back it up with, you know, something in the teaser trailers or something in the promotional material that makes us think, okay, yes, this is a bit edgy, but I'm curious as to why you're saying this. It could lead to somewhere more positive or interesting, or circle them back around to their foundational morals and principles. Another part of the problem is they didn't even set up truth, justice, and the American way in the Superman movie. I know in the comics they changed it to something else. I forget what it is. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. It should always be truth, justice, and the American way. That's what it's always been. If you ask any fan that's been a fan for a long time, they'll tell you that's what the Superman motto is. So this truth, justice, whatever thing, again, it's boring. It's like, why is boring cool? Why is narcissism, apathy, just not caring, why is that heroic? I just don't think that the marketing team understands like the actual audience for these characters. I don't think that's what they want. Now, if it gets a bunch of rave reviews, makes a lot of money, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Okay, so this next thing like is not intentionally part of the marketing, but unfortunately they're not gonna be able to help it because Corn Sweat is Superman, and someone like on the red carpet showed him I think it's AMC, it's one of the movie theaters like collectible Supergirl cups with the trench coat on it, and the dude was not having it. Like the look on his face, he looks disgusted. It's pretty hilarious, and understandably, like it's a weird looking cup. Like they could have done better, like maybe with the color, or I don't know, or maybe just not even done the trench coat at all. I don't know what to say about it. Obviously not a planned marketing tactic, but because Superman said it and it's social media, it's gonna make the rounds, and it's gonna be a talking point, which it already was before he even saw the cup. So it's just gonna fan the flames even more. Okay, so this next screenshot is actually the one that gave me the idea to kind of make this video in the first place. The post says, "She's just like us, isn't she?" Like what does that mean? Like, again, it's such a boring, bland statement. And the reason it caught my eye was because it's so boring. I wanted to know what they meant. Usually with marketing, you want people to catch things pretty quick. And I literally stopped and like, what are they trying to say? I had to think about it, and I don't even know if I'm totally right, but I'm pretty sure I get what they're saying. And again, it plays into this like apathetic, selfish, boring thing. And the problem I have with that is it's not heroic. They're deconstructing heroes. They're not actually showing you the heroes that you love and admire and saying, hey, aim high to be like this hero. They're actually taking that hero, bringing them down to your level and saying, you're actually the hero. You're heroic. Now listen, I'm all about encouraging people and telling them, like, if they're giving a good effort, good job. But the problem is they're trying to make heroes too relatable. Yes, you want your heroes to be relatable, but you don't want them relatable on a downward spectrum. You want them relatable on an upward spectrum. So like Peter Parker, okay? He's a normal guy, he's nerdy, you know, he's a bit of a loner, he has to pay his own bills, he has to work. Most people can relate to things like that. But obviously he gets superpowers. I don't have superpowers. I'm guessing you don't have superpowers, but we think that's cool, right? It's like, what would you do with great power? And then there comes the famous line from Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. And that's the thing that makes him heroic. Is he gonna follow that? Is he going to take responsibility? Is he gonna help people? Is he gonna serve people? Is he gonna use those powers for good or not use them or use them for evil? But he uses them for good, and we like that because we want to see the good in ourselves. We want to see the good in the people around us, and we want to believe that if we had the chance, if we had the opportunity to do something good like Spider-Man, that we would do that, and that is relatable, and it's relatable on an upward course. But then when you take a hero and you bring them down, there's nothing to aspire to, and that's just encouraging people to be okay with being dopamine addicted doom scrollers, okay? And I'm not trying to be rude about that. Like I said, we've all probably been there. Like I'm guilty, okay? I've done the doom scrolling thing. I'm just saying that that's not where we want to stay. We don't want to say that that is heroic, and we don't want to encourage people to live in a vicious cycle of like bondage or addiction or apathy. Like that doesn't help you as a person, and that doesn't help people around you. Therefore, not heroic. I just want to mention this last one fairly quick and then kind of wrap it up. I noticed that they're using a lot of influencers and cosplayers to promote this movie, which again, nothing wrong with that. It's to be expected. They've done this with other superhero movies, but I'm just seeing a lot more of it. I saw a lot of red carpet photos at the premiere of people that I was like, who in the world are these people? You know, usually you see actors or producers or people in the film industry, but almost every picture I saw was a bunch of like random people I had no idea who they were. And then I looked at their pages and I was like, oh, okay, they're a big DC account, or oh, okay, they're a cosplayer. Again, nothing wrong with that. I just think it's a bit of a weird tactic because I think the marketing team is banking on the fact that everyone who follows these accounts somehow looks at these accounts as if they are knowledgeable on their favorite heroes. This is a bit of speculation on my part. I believe a lot of people follow cosplayers because cosplayers are generally beautiful people. The successful ones, the ones with the high follower accounts, right? They're beautiful people and they make really good costumes. And these people, they just want to see their characters come to life, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But I'd be willing to bet that most of the people who follow these cosplayers know more about those characters than the cosplayers do. Not all of them, okay? I actually know a couple cosplayers who are big fans, very nerdy, and very knowledgeable about characters, okay? Like I said, it's a bit of speculation. The point is, they're just using that a lot more than I guess I anticipated, which makes me feel like they're just not confident in this movie. I feel like if they were more confident, sure, they'd still invite the cosplayers and the influencers, no doubt, but I just feel like they would let their commercials and their TV spots and their reels speak for themselves more so. But it just feels like they've been encouraging everyone to push really hard. I've seen a lot of posts, more than I normally do for stuff like this. So I just thought it was interesting. So to wrap it all up, guys, those are some things I noticed about the marketing. I'd love to know what you think. Are you excited to see the movie? Do you think it's weird? Have you noticed this with other movies lately? It just seems like in the age we're living in, there's a lot of different things that they're trying, which I understand, taking risks and trying to see what works with all the new technologies and media platforms out there. I'm just curious to see if any of it is working. I really would love to know your thoughts. That being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel, and I'm having a lot of fun making videos and engaging with the community. And as always, guys, I so appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next one.